Hey everybody, it's Allie, and welcome to our YNR chat for Sunday, June 10th, 2012, in a chilling inauguration ceremony this week. Michael was sworn in to the office of the district attorney. He's Genoa City's new DA, and there was something really momentously creepy about it. The ripple effects of him now being on the opposite side of the fence are just being felt all across Genoa City. It's going to change everything. Michael is going from defending everyone in town to now he's going to be prosecuting them, and it's going to put him in such an awkward position, but it's going to be so good. And in general, you can tell that YNR is really ramping up the legal support in Genoa City. We've got Michael and Avery and Heather all either, working together or, working in opposition to. But still, I don't know if we've ever had this many lawyers on the show before. I think that it kind of feels like the show has gone from boardrooms to courtrooms in a way. It used to be all about the business storylines, and now I think that having all of these lawyers crawling around town is an indicator that there's going to be a lot of legal trouble for everyone, and Michael's going to be right in the center of it. It's gonna take a lot of legal power to both prosecute and defend everyone in town, including Phyllis. It's so clear the path that this is headed toward, and it's gonna be good. How could it not be good? Because not only Phyllis is going to find her way into trouble, but there's a multitude of other people in Genoa City, but especially Michael's own family members who just can't seem to help themselves from getting into trouble. And I just find it to be such a good twist. I think that it's a really good use of Michael's character. He's been doing the same old thing for years and years, and now him being on the opposite side of the fence is, I think, just taking the character to a whole new level that I am completely along for the ride for. The only thing that makes me a little bit nervous is the potential for problems that it could cause in Lauren and Michael's relationship. And I'm a Lauren and Michael fan. I think it's very obvious. It's a very obvious question. Will him taking the new job and, having potential problems with Lauren push him directly into Avery's arms? They've got a lot in common. They're going to be working probably on opposite sides, but still closely together. I can see them being even friendly, even though they're, supposedly enemies, maybe frenemies or something like that. But I like them as friends, actually. I think that they make a really good little friendship. In fact, I like Michael and Avery's friendship almost better than I like Michael and Phyllis's friendship, because Avery doesn't ask Michael for anything the way everybody else in town does, and especially Phyllis. Avery actually brings something to the table. She helps him rather than only asking for his help. It's a very symbiotic relationship, and I like that. In fact, Avery is taking over Michael's entire practice in addition to her job at Newman. So she's Victor's full-time attorney, and she's taking over Michael's practice. She's the new Michael. And good for her. I think that I honestly thought she would have made a better choice for district attorney. It would not be anywhere near as dramatic if she was the district attorney. I love where this is going, but at the same time, I don't know, there was a little moment when Michael introduced Heather to Avery and announced that she was going to be his assistant district attorney. There was a moment that I thought, was Avery maybe a little pissed that Michael chose Heather instead of her? It seems like that would have been a perfect fit. Avery is the perfect person to be in the prosecutor's or the district attorney's office. She wants truth and justice, and I don't know. I just kind of thought, well, I wonder if she was mad about that. I wonder if Avery would have liked to work with Michael. She probably would have ditched her job at Newman in a heartbeat if he would have offered it to her. But I guess it's a good thing. It probably is a very, very good thing, because if Michael and Avery were working side by side on the same side, I shudder to think about what those late nights over legal briefs and espresso might do to them. So, new Heather. I wasn't expecting red hair, for one. Like L'Oreal red hair. That's so mean, but it does look like she totally dyed her hair in the bathroom, in her own bathroom, over the sink. It's giving me a very Allison Hannigan vibe, the girl from, what's that show? It's on the same channel. How I Met Your Mother. I don't even know if she has red hair anymore, but back in the day she did. It's very bottle job red, but that's really my only criticism, because I think I'm gonna like her. She seemed fine. Anything is an improvement over the last Heather, Eden Rigel. She just grated my nerves. Her voice, just her way, everything about her. So at this point, new Heather is an improvement, I think. She seems to be playing it very mature. She is cold as ice, in fact, which is exactly how I like her. I've always said that Paul is cool as a cucumber. Like, that's his overall vibe, and Heather is cool as ice, cold as ice. So it works. I think that that's sort of how the character is and should be. She's a very stiff, staunch kind of person, and I'm looking forward to seeing what she's going to bring to the role. I'm definitely having an open mind about the whole thing. I thought it was interesting, though, how much interaction Heather seemed to have with the younger kids in Genoa City, or the 20-somethings in Genoa City. Like, she had a moment where she was talking to Noah and Eden at the coffee house, and I thought, I don't really even remember Heather and Noah and Eden, specifically Noah. It seemed like she knew Noah. I don't remember them ever having a relationship when she was in town last time. Did I miss that, or is that being folded in now? Because then she also had a little hello with Daniel, and I don't remember her really having interaction with Daniel either. So I'm thinking, is Y&R just kind of creating this to sort of push her into that age range, to sort of fold her in with that generation of Y&R people? Because I thought that Heather was older than that. Are they trying to age Heather younger than she actually is? Because she looks older, she seems more mature, she seems like she's a good 10 years older than Noah. I don't know. I should have looked that up, because I don't know. Heather is older. I'm not wrong about that. Heather is significantly older than Noah and Eden and Daniel, right? Because I think Heather was born before I was even watching the show. So she has to be in her 30s. And yet she's hanging around with these younger kids. I mean, for crying out loud, she was dating Adam. So, well, of course, then again, Adam's age is way off. But I mean, as far as, like, in reality, like, the actual amount of years that the character of Adam has been alive. But it still seemed like they were the same age. So I would put her at around 30, somewhere in the same age as Adam. And it's going to be a little bit annoying if they try to lump her in with the younger kids, because I think that she is an adult. For crying out loud, she's had a job as an assistant district attorney. She can't be 20. So I hope they keep her kind of where she needs to be. But whatever. I'm open to it. I think that she has definite potential. And I like that it gives Paul someone to talk to. He needs a good kid. He's got the bad kid, now he's got the good kid, and Heather has certainly had her own brush with Genoa City's slippery weasel. That's what I should call Ricky. His new name should be the Slippery Weasel, or the Slippery Sex Weasel, maybe. It's just kind of like my sex wolf name for Ronan, which I'm sure we'll be talking about as things unfold in Genoa City. I'm sure you'll be hearing the name Sex Wolf coming from my lips once again. But for now, I kind of like the idea of calling Ricky the Slippery Sex Weasel. Why do I have this need to make them animals? Why? That's weird. That's some kind of, I don't know, weird-ass psychology coming from me there, but I like the Slippery Sex Weasel. We can call him SSW for now. I think it describes Ricky to a T, is a slippery weasel. And also sexy. And I kind of am thinking that the next logical thing to do to evolve Ricky's character is going to be to get him into a sexual situation or give him a romantic interest. I think that would be a very just logical evolution of the character. It's not that I want to see him shirtless. That's not it. Or in bed. That's not it. No. It's purely in the interest of evolving the character. I'm so transparent, aren't I? But I think that he should be headed down a similar path as like Adam. I think that if we gave even the slightest hint that Ricky had a heart, it might start to really change things. You give us the bad boy, but then we see beneath it. We see beneath that there's a little spark in there, and it makes us want it even more. And, oddly enough, I don't think that Ricky is all bad. He took those photos of Heather with Adam. And that, of course, ruined Heather's career, quote unquote, even though now she's right back into the district attorney's office in Genoa City is full of people with scandalous pasts. But even though Heather's life was supposedly ruined, I don't think that Ricky did it on purpose. If I recall correctly, he took those photos of Heather and Adam sleeping together in order to help Sharon's case, and of course to get a story. I think he was interested in making a name for himself as he was. He didn't have to do it, but I think that was at least part of it. Listen to me, I'm clearly making excuses for him, but I at least submit to you that argument that it's possible he did it for Sharon's case. I don't think he was set out necessarily to hurt Heather. I think he was feeling jealous of her. I think he felt jealous of the relationship that Heather and Paul had. And I think that we are starting to see some more peaks of that coming through. He kept running into Heather and Paul this week, having lunch, having drinks, whatever, and he sees that they're close. And that's a relationship that he never got to have with either of his parents. And I think right off the bat, he got the vibe from Heather that she was some pampered princess. He was Paul's favorite. I think he has always had this issue of feeling abandoned and feeling unloved, and seeing them together just makes it worse. But I think it drives a whole lot of what he has done. So I do think that there is some redeemability within Ricky, and I want to see it. I'm excited to see it. I don't need to rush into it. It's fine if we take our time in peeling away to Ricky's heart, because that makes it better, I think. I just hope that there are plans to keep the guy on the show long term. I really like the potential. He's what's keeping me interested right now, hands down. And I think it's good to see some depth from Paul. It's good to see Paul doing something else. Paul feels so guilty and so ashamed, and he is torn between wanting to think the best of his son but having all of this evidence to the contrary, and this instinct. Paul's had an instinct about people, and it's tearing him up inside to love his son but to have this feeling that he's a bad seed. And so it's good to see that from Paul as well. So I don't know, what do you guys think? How do you feel about this? I know that there are other Ricky fans out there, but I've also heard from some people that just aren't into it, just not having it where Ricky's concerned. So leave me a comment and let me know what your thoughts are. And probably the larger question, can Ricky be redeemed? I mean, I don't know, if a character like Adam can be redeemed after he caused Ashley to miscarry, I would certainly think that we would be able to redeem a character like Ricky and keep him around, because ultimately I think that somewhere deep down, Ricky just wants to be loved. Ricky managed to have to sneak in to Phyllis's apartment one more time while she wasn't there, and he's going through her things, rifling through, and Daisy's in the background trying to keep a lookout, but like squawking at him, telling him to be careful, be careful. And there was a moment where Daisy realized that the elevator is on its way up and Phyllis is on her way home, and Daisy is able to stand out in the hall and kind of try to fix the situation, but Ricky is stuck inside, still with all these papers he's trying to go through. He sneaks into the closet, and by the time Phyllis and Nick comes in, it seems like he's off the hook, but he's still stuck in the closet. And he's listening to a conversation between Phyllis and Nick, and Phyllis is telling Nick how much she hates Daisy. Phyllis knows that Daisy's up to something. All of a sudden, Daisy's trying really hard with Phyllis, trying to just talk to her, bringing Lucy over, bringing gifts, and Phyllis knows that it's messed up. She knows that it's not genuine, and she starts really letting her fury loose on Nick, telling Nick about how she would kill Daisy if she got the chance. She wants to kill Daisy. And Ricky's in the closet the entire time with his iPhone recording the whole thing. Basically, Ricky has Phyllis on tape. Oh, someone's gonna die. Someone is gonna die. He has her on tape talking about how she would kill Daisy if she could get away with it. And I don't know. I wonder, now that I'm thinking about it, if it's possible that Daisy's gonna fake her own death. And somehow and then just that's the evidence right there, because there's no way that that's not going to come into play. We're building towards Phyllis getting ready to get convicted for something. I just don't know what exactly it could be. Any one of these bowling pins could fall over at any minute and just completely ruin her life. But I don't know if it's going to be Daisy or if it's going to be someone else. But Ricky is really in a position of being able to hold her future, Phyllis's future, in his hands. He's got the goods on her. And Daisy, not a fan of Phyllis, is right there helping him. I think she's reluctant about it. Obviously, she doesn't want to get caught. This isn't her battle. Ricky is blackmailing her into helping him, and it's not what she wants to do, but at the same time, she keeps going along with it, and there's this tension between them, and I wish that it would culminate in a sexcapade between Ricky and Daisy. That's what I wish. I know there are lots of people that just could take or leave both Ricky and or Daisy, but I like them both, and I think that they would be a good match. I think Daisy is my number one, probably, she's my number one match for Ricky right now, and I'd really like to have it happen. Like I said, Ricky's just carrying the show for me right now. I love the storyline. I love this storyline about Phyllis's past coming back to haunt her. I think that Phyllis has spent so much time digging up other people's dirt. For the past couple years, anytime there's a story about Sharon or Diane or anybody in Genoa City that she wants to burn, she writes a Restless Style article about them. And she has trashed and everybody in Genoa City at one point or another in her gossip magazine, and now it's coming back around to her. Ricky exposed to her this week that he is planning to write a tell-all book about her past. She is ready to do anything to fight against it. But what are you gonna do when you've been casting stones, Phyllis, for so many years, and what do you know? You're living in a glass house. She's got so many skeletons in her closet that just are ready to be exposed, and Ricky's there to expose them. And one of the new elements that's come into play this week about Phyllis's past is a woman named Sasha, who I talked about a little bit last week, Sasha Green. I forgot she was dead. I just remembered that she was the woman who helped fix the DNA results of to make it look like Daniel was Danny's son, but actually the story is a lot more sordid. There's a lot more to it. After that happened, apparently Sasha came back to Phyllis and tried to blackmail her. Said, hey, look, I switched these test results for you, and if you don't pay me money, then I'm going to tell everyone that this is what you did, and that Danny is not Daniel's father. And so Phyllis was not going to let this happen. Of course, Phyllis is going to do anything that she can do to protect her and hers. So Phyllis goes to Sasha and smacks her around a little bit, and I don't know exactly how it happened, but there was a hotel fire. I think Phyllis started it. I think Phyllis probably started a fire in Sasha's little sleazy motel room that she was staying in, and Sasha passed out from the fumes and died in a fire. What do you know? She just died right there. How convenient. It's possible that Phyllis didn't do it, but it seems like she thought that she did it, because right after that, Phyllis goes back to her psychologist, Tim Reed, and tells him that she feels so guilty about what just happened, and she probably revealed all of the details. It was ruled that Sasha died it was just an accident. She fell asleep with a cigarette in her mouth. But I think everyone in town suspected that it was Phyllis, and I think Phyllis suspected that it was something that she did. And so she's, flash forwarding to today, not going to let this information get out any more today than she was 15 years ago. She is hell-bound and determined to keep it in. So Phyllis goes to pay a visit to Dr. Reed. They finally come face to face after all of these years, and it was pretty phenomenal. Phyllis practically fought him. He's such a little twerp. She practically pushed him around, like bullied him around, saying, where's my patient file? I want my patient file. And he said, Phyllis, I shredded the file. It's not here. She asked him if he had any contact with Ricky Williams, and of course Dr. Reed played dumb, but he just doesn't want anything to do with this. All of this is in his past. He would be happy to just let it die, let it lay dead where it's been dead for 15 years. So he's not helping Phyllis. He's not helping Ricky. I'm surprised he doesn't just move. He needs to just move, because he needs to be very afraid, because Phyllis got up in his face and threatened him. Like, if you say anything, you're going to have me to deal with, and you don't want to deal with me. And then Ricky paid a visit to him and threatened him as well. So this guy, I don't even know if he should be more scared of Phyllis or Ricky, but I suppose just needs to be scared of them both, because I seriously would not be surprised if Dr. Reed ended up being found floating face down in the Kenosha River, if there is a Kenosha River in the very near future. But I don't even know. I don't think Phyllis would do that, but I think Ricky would do that. And I don't know. I think that would be actually a really great way for Ricky to frame Phyllis by killing Dr. Reed. If he can't get the dirt that he needs, he can create some dirt on her, and Phyllis would be the only one with a motive to kill him. Oh, I don't know. It's very bad. It's very dirty. It's very good, though. It's bad and good all at the same time. And it doesn't even matter. Phyllis is scrambling at this point, and she needs help. She needs someone to turn to, and she doesn't have Michael to turn to anymore, which is going to be very difficult for her. He's always the one that she's gone to. He's the one that everybody goes to get them out of a jam, and Phyllis doesn't have that anymore. She sat down with Michael this week, started trying to tell him everything that was going on with her, and Michael just stops her. He just stops her right in her tracks and gives her fair warning and says, Phyllis, I don't want to hear any more about your threats or what you're doing, because at this point, I am still your friend, but the more important thing that you need to keep in mind is that I'm also law enforcement now. Feeling scared and backed into a corner, Phyllis goes directly home and tells Nick that she wants to get married today. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get married right now. And I'm curious to know what you guys think about that. Do you think that Phyllis insisted on getting married to Nick right away because she just had a really bad day and she didn't want to wait, and she's showing, and she doesn't want people to find out about her pregnancy when it's and that she's unmarried or whatever? I mean, do you think it was an innocent reaction, or do you think that Phyllis maybe wanted to get married to Nick before all of this crap about her past starts pouring out, like opening the floodgates and just all over the place and possibly ruining what she has? I mean, it's not as if being married is going to stop Nick from leaving her if he wants to, but it certainly does help lock things in, especially with a baby on the way. So, what do you guys think about Phyllis's motives there? I thought it was maybe just a slight bit suspicious, but still, hey, a wedding is a wedding, and I thought it was going to be really good. I was pretty excited. I thought, oh, goody, wedding time, we'll get to see dresses, and everything really, at first, seemed like it was going to be a perfect day. Lauren hooked Phyllis and Avery up with their wedding dresses. And even just the fact that Avery was there supporting her sister, and it seemed like the two were getting along, and it was cutesy girl time, and Nick was really cute in that scene at the penthouse where Lauren brought over the dresses. He wanted to stay and see what was going on, but the girls gave him the bum's rush out of the room. It was really cute. It seemed like it was going to be just such a good, perfect day. The whole family was set to attend. Victoria and Avery went around kind of inviting people, and phone calls were made, and Nikki and Jack were thrilled and ready to go to the wedding, and I don't know if thrilled is the word for Nikki, but happy and ready to go to the wedding, and Nick made a simple request. He said, look, it's my wedding day. I want everything to go smoothly for my soon-to-be wife, and I don't want my ex-wife, Sharon, to attend. Okay? Seems like a reasonable request. He calls Victor, asks him to come to the wedding, but says it's not a +1 kind of situation. It's just for you. I just want you there, not Sharon. I don't want to ruin my day. And Victor, I wanted to smack him. I want to smack him on a weekly basis, but this week he really ticked me off. Victor acted like he was not going to attend Nick's wedding if Sharon couldn't be there. That is so rude of Victor and Sharon. I mean, it's like, I agree, it's a little bit, I agree that they were isolating Sharon a little bit. It's awkward having Sharon there, absolutely, but not Avery? It's not awkward having Avery there? I mean, Avery slept with Nick. Sharon is the mother of Nick's children. Sharon is always going to be a part of their life, whether they like it or not, whether Phyllis likes it or not. That's the story of their relationship, is that Sharon's gonna be in it. So I can understand Sharon not wanting to be there, but at the same time, it was kind of like picking and choosing. But still, Nick made the request, and it seemed like Victor was gonna say, I'm not happy about it, but either I'll be there alone or I won't be there at all. Not the case. It all goes downhill from there. Like, all of the perfect wedding vibes that I was getting just came crashing to the ground and shattering into a million pieces. First, Sharon shows up at the wedding anyway. Even though she knows she's been disinvited. Politely disinvited, by the way. It's not like it was, we don't like you, we're sick of you, we don't want to look at you on our wedding day. It was just, I don't want to upset my wife. You're not invited. But she crashes the wedding anyway. So rude. I wanted to strangle her. Who is this woman anyway? I don't even know this Sharon. It's it's not all about you, Sharon, okay? It's not about how you feel about this family. It's not about this situation. This wedding is not about you and Victor. I know you think everything revolves around you, but it doesn't. And same goes for Victor. It's not about you and who your date is to the wedding. It's about Nick and Phyllis's wedding, you selfish bastard. It really got up under my skin. But that is not where it stopped. That is not where the wedding day horror stopped. Because Daisy stops by Phyllis's apartment, condo. And Daisy has also learned that she's been disinvited from the wedding. She doesn't like it. She wants to be there with Daniel. She wants to be included in the family. And she kind of tried to extend an olive branch. Daisy came to the door with a gift in her hand, and she said, I want to give you information about Ricky. I want to tell you what's really going on with him. And I think, in part, Daisy was putting on a show. I think she wants Phyllis to trust her. I think that she wants Phyllis to trust her because she wants to be in Daniel's life and she wants to be accepted so that she can actually have a chance at being with Daniel. I think it was all motivated by her desire for Daniel, but at the same time, she was gonna kind of try to give Phyllis a heads up about what Ricky is up to, and Phyllis was not gonna hear it. Phyllis is like, this is my wedding day, I don't want to talk to you, I don't want to look at you, and it just spiraled out so quickly. It so quickly became an epic fight between Phyllis and Daisy. It even got physical. Phyllis they were kind of pushing each other back and forth. Phyllis was trying to physically get Daisy out of her house so that she could continue on with her wedding day. But I mean, even before that though, it was like Phyllis was in amazing rare form. She was yelling at Daisy. She was putting her whole body into it. She was flinging her arms up in Daisy's face. Like her hair was, she's standing there in this beautiful white, amazing wedding gown, just turning red with anger, just so like clenched up and ready to just strangle Daisy. Her, like, all of a sudden you just see this beautiful bride come completely undone. Her hair was getting all messed up. It was everywhere. Her little barrettes was flying. She was turning red. It totally unraveled. And Daisy made the comment to Phyllis that you just hate me because you are me. I'm you. You're just an older version of who I am. And I don't know, I'm kind of getting tired of that comparison in a way. I'm not sure that it's entirely true. Daisy has done some bad stuff, obviously, with Lauren, but it's not really that the same. I mean, she knocked Daniel out. Yes, she did the whole, she got pregnant when Daniel didn't want to, but I just feel like they're not really even on the same level. I think it would be a compliment for Daisy to think that she is anywhere near the magnitude of Phyllis, but I say not quite, honey. You are no Phyllis. Michelle Stafford has blown my mind over the past several weeks. Going back, watching the vintage flashbacks from 15, 20 years ago, blows my mind. Watching her in that scene between she and Daisy, it was so fierce. It was just fierce. There is no other word for it. And no wonder the woman started cramping. As soon as Daisy left, Phyllis had about a 2-minute period where she tried to recover, and then all of a sudden the cramping came on and she is having problems with the pregnancy. She's holding her stomach, she's crawling around on the floor in her beautiful white wedding gown on her wedding day, screaming and begging, and Daisy hears the whole thing standing out in the hall. And there's this moment where Phyllis is crying for help, and I think Daisy's gonna go back, right? She's gonna turn around and go help Phyllis, because it's so audible, it's so obvious that Phyllis is writhing in pain, And Daisy's just standing there waiting for the elevator, and I truly, in my heart, thought she's going to turn around and help her. And I don't even know who I was kidding, but that's not happened. That did not happen. Daisy hears the whole thing and just walks away. It just reminded me so much of the time that Victor had the heart attack right in front of Jack, and Jack just looked at him and walked away, left Victor lying on the floor having a heart attack. It was exactly like that. Daisy just leaves Phyllis lying on the floor, crying and screaming for help, and all I can think this entire time is, Phyllis, stop screaming and use all of your energy to go pick up the phone and call for help. Someone made the point to me last week that has really rung true, that Nikki and Jack's relationship is a lot like Nikki's relationship with Paul. She tries to move on. It's pretty much like any time Nikki has tried to have a relationship outside of Victor, it feels doomed to fail. And I just think that every time anything happens, like for instance, anything happens with Beauty of Nature or anything happens with the family, Nikki seems to see it as an excuse to go talk to Victor. And vice versa, but more so from Nikki's end. I feel like it's Nikki always wanting to insert herself into Victor's life and always hoping that there's going to be a glimmer, always searching for that glimmer of something changing with Victor. And if you were to ask me, as much as I like Nikki and Jack, if you were to ask me if I think that Nikki would go back to Victor if she thought for a moment that things would change, in a heartbeat, she would. You know it's true. If she thought she could have Victor, she would be back in his arms tonight. And that concerns me because even though I think Nikki and Jack are great for each other, I wish Nikki would just get over Victor, but she's not. But I think Nikki and Jack actually have a chance for a healthy relationship, but not while she's still so hooked up on Victor. I just don't think, maybe you can let me know what you think. Can Nikki and Jack really have a chance? Do they stand a chance of staying together? I just wonder if everyone knows it's only a matter of time until we start doing the Nikki and Victor dance again. This is all just foreplay for them, I think, and everyone knows it, including Victoria, who was such a brat this week to Nikki and Jack. Jack gave Nikki an engagement ring. They were having dinner at the athletic club and he had it tied around her sparkling cider glass. It was adorable. It was a nice moment. Nikki was clearly so happy. This is her, one of her first moments of being happy since deciding momentarily to call things off with Victor. Nikki has a great big smile on her face. Victoria walks in, sees the whole thing, realizes that they're engaged, and immediately her reaction is, please tell me this is not true. Please tell me this is not happening. How rude. Not only is that just a rude thing to say to crash somebody's happy moment, but on top of that, Victoria doesn't want anyone else to tell her who she should marry, who she should be with, but she has no problem telling Nikki what to do, telling her mother what to do. It's so hypocritical. Just get over yourself, Victoria. I couldn't even believe it. I wanted to smack her, and the entire tone changed when she thought that Jack had a job offer for her. It was all, oh no, this relationship can't be, I don't approve of it. And then Jack is like, I just got Beauty of Nature back. You think you might want a job? Oh, well, maybe I can be okay with this. Victoria, oh, she really, really bugs me this week. And the thing is about Nikki and Jack, I think it has potential. Sharon and Victor, on the other hand, they're obviously temporary. It's not gonna last. It's so shaky right off the bat. Victor was was ready to call off the entire thing with Sharon as soon as he found out that she slept with Billy. It was like Victor basically played with Sharon, tossed her around just for a little bit, like a little yarn ball, and then threw her aside as soon as he found out something that he didn't like about her. And I don't like it either. But, come on. Is this your big everlasting love? I don't think so, Victor. And as soon as Sharon found out that Victoria told Victor what she told Victoria about Billy, Sharon, oh my gosh, Sharon confronted Victoria in public and screamed out at her, calling her a bitch for telling Victor the truth. Excuse me, where does Sharon even get off? Like, here's the thing. She's the one who opened this can of worms. And I agree that it was stupid of Victoria to tell Victor that Sharon slept with Billy, but if Sharon didn't want the information to be public knowledge, then she should have just kept her mouth shut about it. She shouldn't have said anything at all. She should have totally expected this backlash. She was so rude with Victoria last week, acting like she was rubbing it in her nose. Yeah, I slept with your husband. How you like that? I slept with your husband. And then when Victoria lashes back, Sharon's surprised about it. It's absolutely ridiculous. Seriously, you guys, what has happened to Sharon? I don't even recognize her. Who is this woman? I am so disappointed with her lately. I'm disappointed in her choices. I'm disappointed in who she is. I don't recognize her at all. I'm starting to dislike Sharon. I've always liked Sharon, and for some reason, just, her showing up at the wedding uninvited, and in fact, explicitly not invited, and she knew it. That is what bothers me the most. She's just got a real chip on her shoulder for everyone in Genoa City. She's just becoming such a bad girl, which should be a good thing, but it's not bad in a good way. It's bad in an annoying way. And even Adam was like, "You're making a mistake, Sharon. I would have done the same thing as Victoria. I would have done anything to keep you away from Victor." Even Adam's kind of chastising her. Even Adam can see that she's being a jerk. But there was a little bit of hope this week that Adam still has feelings for Sharon. I think we're coming to the end of the Chelsea and Adam ride, or I feel like the fans have maybe spoken. Because a board member, I can't remember his name, but one of the board members came up to Adam and made some kind of offhand comment to him about, "I can't believe Victor is dating a subordinate. That's totally inappropriate. I'm going to bring it up at the next board meeting, and I'm going to have it recommended that Sharon be let go because she shouldn't be dating the boss." And Adam really, really stuck up for Sharon. He told this guy, "If you even think about saying anything to the board about Sharon, I'm going to reveal that you've been trading off," I don't know, he was doing something. The guy was like betting against, I don't know, he was trading stock or something against Newman. He was doing something on the side that was illegal, basically. And Adam said, "I'm going to reveal that information if you even think about saying anything about Sharon." So it's clear that Adam still cares about Sharon, and Chelsea overheard that whole thing, by the way. She came right up to Adam after the boardroom guy left and said, "So you're still caring about Sharon, huh?" And she seemed to accept it. She said, "Hey, that's cool, I get it." So it seems like Adam and Chelsea's relationship is very, very casual. It seems like Chelsea is fully aware that Adam still has feelings for Sharon, and vice versa. Sharon is just broken. She's just broken by what happened with Adam, but she made her own bed. She's the one that left Adam, and then she's turning around and crying about the fact that she doesn't have him. At this point, I'm so frustrated with Sharon. I don't even think she deserves Adam at this point. Of course, I'm sure I will feel completely differently next week, but that's how I feel right now, okay? Sharon is just on my hit list. And eventually Victor forgave her. He forgave her for sleeping with Billy. I can't even believe that Victor would even consider double dipping with Billy, but after it was all resolved, Sharon and Victor went upstairs and presumably consummated their relationship. Yes, that's right, folks. Sharon and Victor finally made love. Oh, the moment we've all been waiting for. All the fans are clamoring. Ooh, we can't wait to see the love scene between Victor and Sharon. So much so that they didn't even show it. It happened off camera. Clearly nobody is into this. It's so fake. It's so fake. But it came complete with a post-sex diamond necklace gift from Victor, just as a way to say, thanks for screwing me. Here's a diamond necklace for you, Sharon. Platinum with diamond encrusted. Which she put on her neck at breakfast the next morning while she had dinner with Victor. It's so obviously about revenge. It's about showing everybody in Genoa City. It's about telling everyone in Genoa City that they can screw off. And I think it's the same motivation that Sharon has is the same motivation that Victor has. They just want everybody in Genoa City to just screw right off. And I loved the confrontation the next morning between Nikki and Sharon, where Nikki just put it down sharply and said, you know what, Sharon, you've managed somehow to sleep your way through 2 generations of Newman men. Congratulations. She slept with every Newman man. Sharon has slept with every man in Genoa City. She slept with Victor now, and Billy, and Adam, and Nick, and she was sleeping with guys too, even when she was married with Nick. She had a couple of affairs. Diego, I seem to recall that. I don't know, Matt Clark, I think, raped her, but Brad. She had slept with Brad. She slept with everybody. But now she has had the crown jewel. It literally does feel like Sharon has just screwed her way all the way up to the top, and she finally just got to the top. It's disgusting me with Sharon. And I think what bothers me the most about this whole thing is the loss of the friendship between Victor and Sharon. I don't like their romantic relationship, but what I don't like more is the fact that they're not really friends anymore. It's become something dirty, not in a good way. Sharon and Victor always had a special connection since she was young and came onto the ranch, and he always looked out for her, and he tried to protect her. He offered to get her mother the surgery she needed. He's always been there for Sharon. They've had a very special friendship, and now I feel like that is gone and replaced with something just disgusting. And it really makes me kind of mourn that relationship. Victor and Sharon sleeping together just feels like sacrilege to me. Well, not only does Jack have Nikki, but he's poised to win Beauty of Nature too. I say good for him. It's been so long since he has had a reason to live. He's been down for a long time, so he deserves to be on top. I'm glad for him. Victor was so pissed. Victor was so pissed he needed a human punching bag this time. We've never seen that before. Usually when Victor gets mad, he goes to the athletic club and he hits a punching bag, but this time he had to hire somebody to come out to the ranch to be his human punching bag, and he sparred with them. It was pretty funny. That's how ticked off he was about the whole thing. And there's a little bit of a catch here, though. It seems that the judge has allowed Jack to have Beauty of Nature, but it's, of course, on the condition that he can buy Beauty of Nature. Does Jack have the money? Can he pull together the funds? That's always kind of been the story of Jack. His dreams have always been a little bit bigger than his wallet, the amount of money that he has. And of course he had the money to bid on Beauty of Nature several months ago, but since he didn't win the company, he made other investments and now doesn't have the money completely liquid. And you know Victor is going to need to have that money by the deadline. He has to pay Victor the money for the company by a certain time or he doesn't get it, and Victor's going to be very, very staunch about that deadline. You can guarantee it. The one thing that really kind of, I don't know, it shocked me a little bit was that Jack, needing money, went to Abby first. Of course, Abby is a big financier. She won all that money from Daddy. She's financing Devon's record company, and Jack thought maybe Abby would like to buy in on this deal. And it was just, he only mentioned it kind of toward the end of this week's show, but I know he's going to continue to pursue it next week, which I think Abby is very leery of getting involved in this. There was an encounter at the athletic club where Jack was taunting Victor a little bit about the fact that he got his company, and Abby was the one to calm Jack down. She was the one to say, hey, he just lost, a lot of money in this company. Do you have to be so harsh? And then Jack turned around and asked her to be one of the financiers, which I think is not a logical choice. I would have thought he would have asked Victoria to buy in. He asked Victoria if she would be interested in having a role in the company, but it would make most sense. Victoria has probably just as much money, if not more, than Abby does, and she has a vested interest. Abby doesn't want to step on toes. Victoria is happy to step on Victor's toes, so I was surprised about that. But whether or not he's even going to be able to get the money, who knows? If Abby turns him down, he might not be able to find somebody to give him the money, which would be a crushing blow for him. And then, I don't know, what would happen then? If Jack can't come up with the money, wouldn't it go to the next highest bidder? See, that seems so implausible to me. The judge's ruling seems so implausible to me. I can't believe that he just would have awarded it to Jack. He should have negated the original sale and it should have gone back to Newman. It shouldn't have gone to the next highest bidder. That's ridiculous. The whole storyline seems implausible to me. And I want to talk about it and I want to try to be positive, but also I feel like there have been so many twists and turns along the way in trying to get toward Beauty of Nature. I just stopped caring. Somewhere I think I did. I hate to admit it, but it's true. In the long run, I'm not sure I really care who gets Beauty of Nature. The only thing I think I really care about is getting back into the boardroom so that someone can have sex on a desk. How can Lily be so understanding with Kane and his mother and this whole situation? Kane is this week preparing to go to his immigration hearing where he's probably going to get deported. And Lily is standing there supporting him the entire way, being way more understanding than I would be. I would be like, this is just great. Your screw-up mother is destroying our lives once again. Now we have to move to Australia because of her? I don't know why Lily even forgave Genevieve in the first place. It was Genevieve who forced Kane to fake his own death and keep it a secret from Lily. Lily was so against Genevieve, and somewhere along the way she became this advocate for the mother-son relationship. I don't even know when that happened or why that happened. The only saving grace is the fact that Genevieve this week went through with her plan and decided to turn herself into the authorities and tell them all about where all the money came from. It's the first noble thing she's done since she's gotten into town, frankly. It's the first noble thing she has done. But she's lost all of her money. I don't know how she got out of the jail time. Christine managed to do some wriggling around and had all of Genevieve's assets seized. Her bank accounts, her house, everything. I'm surprised that they don't go through her closets and take all of her clothes back. But she is dead broke. Somehow managed to avoid jail time. I can't imagine that Jack's lawsuit isn't still there. She still illegally looked at his bid to make to make the purchase of Beauty of Nature. So where did that go? Is that just gone now? I want to see Genevieve pay, I guess. I can't help it. How can they not press charges against her? There was illegality all around. But she's down, she's not out. She's like a cockroach in the way that I think she always comes back. She's working on something. She's got something going on in her mind. She was at Crimson Lights trying to look on the computer, trying to do something on the computer. It's as of yet unknown, but she has decided to approach Kevin as the Genoa City's resident computer whiz to ask him to help her with whatever plan it is that she's trying to enact. No doubt it's a way for her to get some secret stash of cash. She probably has money stored away somewhere, and she needs him to transfer some ones and zeros or something for her. But all I can say is, Kevin, you better stay away from that mess, because anyone who ends up in Genevieve's orbit ultimately gets sucked right down into the black hole that's constantly surrounded her. If Kevin didn't need money, I'm sure he would not even be considering Genevieve's proposal. He probably wouldn't want to have anything to do with her. But now, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Kevin and Chloe are developing a website together, which I like. It's a good idea. I guess, the way I understood it is that it's something sort of like Pinterest, where people pin products that they like, and then you can just buy the products right online. So it's like Pinterest with a shopping cart or something, I guess is the idea that they had. But they need money to get it off of the ground, and so they're kind of casing Genoa City, trying to get funding from somewhere, and they ultimately decide to approach Catherine. I'm surprised that wasn't their first guess. Catherine is loaded. She loves Kevin and Chloe. I kind of thought, though, that it was unprofessional the way that they did approach her. They didn't have a prospectus. They didn't have anything. They were just like, here's the idea. We kind of want to get it going. Think you could float us some cash? And Catherine just did. But it's very tough, mixing business and pleasure. And I hope that they don't end up letting Catherine down. I think it could be interesting. I wish maybe it was something a little more exciting, the website. I like Kevin and Chloe working on a project together, but I wish it was something more exciting than a shopping cart site or a social networking site. Woohoo, That doesn't feel that exciting to me. And what is going on with the gala, by the way? They've been stretching this out for several weeks. Chloe and Abby are supposed to be planning this gala that's supposed to be happening, and I'm wondering where it is. When's that going to happen? And instead, it seems like now we're sidetracked onto this other web development project, and I feel like, hey, let's get one project done before we move on to the next one, shall we? Neil and Sophia's divorce is happening. There's no getting around it. Neil tried to get Sophia to move into one of the condos next door, or move into the same building as him, but she wasn't having it. Neil tried. He said, we may not be able to have a relationship, but we're still raising our son together. It would still be great if we just could, walk across the hall and see each other. And she was not receptive to that idea whatsoever. If she can't have Neil, she certainly doesn't want to see him every day in the lobby. She doesn't want to end up running into him with Harmony or something, or after a night of passion, she doesn't want to have to see him, and who could blame her? I feel bad for Sophia. She really got the raw end of the stick. She totally trashed her relationship with Malcolm in order to be with Neil, and now she doesn't get Neil. Oh no. Sophia's starting to talk like she's going to leave town and take Moses with her. I knew it. I just knew it. Does anybody know if Julia Pace Mitchell, I believe is her name, is leaving the show? Because it seems like it. I'm getting that vibe, like she's just going to leave Genoa City. And I had a feeling. They just haven't been focusing on her very much. They've been distancing her from Neil. She doesn't have a whole lot going on unless they have something else amazing planned for her. I would not at all be shocked to see her leaving the scene for a while. I also wouldn't be shocked if Moses came back next month as an 18-year-old. It has been weeks since Ashley and Tucker have spoken. Ashley has just retreated. She's gone into hiding at Abby's house, and she's not really facing what has happened between her and Tucker. The fact that he slept with Harmony. And Catherine approached Ashley this week and said, she pulled out the John card, as Catherine does often do, and she said, I'm going to tell you what your dad would tell you. You need to communicate about this. You need to talk to him. She's not even an impartial party. Tucker's her son. She wants the relationship to work out, no doubt. But Ashley took her advice, and she decided to go see Tucker. She's obviously been thinking about it the entire time, and she approached him, and she gave him this cryptic message. She said to him something like, we can get back together, but it's up to you. I thought, well, obviously Tucker wants to get back together. It was sort of strange that that's the way she put it. If she wanted to get back with him, but it's up to you? So I essentially just telling him that he needs to get his act together if he wants to be with her, and he did. He is hanging on to any little crumb that she wants to throw him, and Tucker has the bright idea to try to get marriage counseling. He suggests to her that they go to see a couples counselor, and she agreed. You could tell that she wants to be with him. She was open to the idea. She really, really wanted to try, and I had this just brief little moment of hope for Ashley and Tucker. But I knew in my heart that it was too good to be true, because as Tucker's waiting for Ashley to come over, Genevieve stops by, and she starts asking him for money. And I am thinking, get her out of there, Tucker. Get Genevieve out of here. This keeps happening. Ashley keeps walking in on Tucker with other women. It happened twice with Harmony, it happened once with Genevieve, and I knew that it was a recipe for disaster. Here's a tip for you, Tucker. Whenever Ashley's about to come over, lock the door. Don't answer it. Don't let anyone else in. You do not need Ashley walking in on you and anyone else. And I knew that was what's gonna happen. It happened. Ashley walked in on Genevieve and Tucker talking, and it wasn't that she thought that they were doing anything. It was more that she felt that twinge of jealousy, of doubt. The trust has been broken in their relationship. She's caught him with another woman, and now every time she sees him talking to another woman, she's going to have a fear in the back of her mind that there's something more going on. And I understand that. The thing that I don't like is that she is blaming herself for feeling that way. She told Tucker that's the reason why they need to break it off. She feels insecure now, and so she needs to break it off. She even said something like, it was just akin to her apologizing for the fact that she feels that way. She said, I'm never gonna change. The reason why we can't get back together now is because I'm always gonna feel that way. It's me. You might be capable of change, but I'm not. I'm always gonna be insecure now. And that bugs me. I don't like the implication that it's her fault that she feels that way. Like, it's her insecurity that's the problem. She's right to feel the way that she feels. And there's absolutely no reason why Tucker and Ashley's relationship has to end over this, other than the fact that Y&R has decided so terribly and stupidly to write out an awesome veteran character. Ashley, I'm going to miss you. Okay, everybody. That takes me to the end. I don't know how long I've been talking, but I guarantee it's longer than usual. It's been such an explosive week. There's so many things to talk about. And now I'm done. It's your turn. Leave me a comment and let me know what you're thinking about this week's show. Oh, I know you are dying to tell me. There's a text box down below this video and use it. Leave 1 comment or 5 comments. I don't care. I want to hear from you. I want to know what you're thinking. I am getting really close to my move. I'm definitely going to be back next week for video as usual, but I gotta give you guys fair notice and a heads up that probably the week following, not this next Sunday, but the following Sunday, you probably either will not hear from me, or you will hear from me late, or you will hear from me just audio. But definitely the week after next is going to be a little wonky. I'm going to try to keep watching the show. I think I told you guys a couple weeks ago that I'm moving, and it's not exactly a local move, so it's hectic, you know. I mean, getting everything into its place and getting everything set up, especially for recording, is, you know, it's a little bit uncertain at the moment, but I actually have a better idea of how I'm going to make the recording work once I get to my new place, and so it's just going to take a little bit of time for me to get there, but I'm still going to be thinking of you. Even if you don't hear from me, you know I'll be watching, and you know I'll be back 100%, and I'll give you guys a reminder next week about that. But in the meantime, I am loving the show, loving you guys, looking forward to hearing what you have to say, and we will for sure chat next week. Okay? Mwah. I love ya. Bye.